You wrote a prompt. Claude or ChatGPT gave you something back. It was fine, usable, maybe, but not what you actually needed. So you tried again, added more words, changed the tone, asked it to be more specific, and it got slightly better, but still not right. Most people at this point assume the AI is the problem. The model isn't smart enough, or this particular task is too complex. They move on and accept the mediocre output. That's the wrong diagnosis. The problem isn't the AI. The problem is that you're prompting it the way you'd Google something, and those are two completely different cognitive tasks. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you the CRAFT framework, a 5-part prompt structure that consistently produces outputs you'd actually use, not outputs you have to completely rewrite. Here's what most people do when they prompt an AI. They type what they want. Maybe they add "please" or "be detailed." They hit send. What they've given the model is a half-finished instruction with no context, no role, no constraints, and no output specification. The AI fills in every gap it has to make, and it makes them based on statistical patterns across its training data, not based on your actual situation. Here's the reframe. You're not talking to a smart assistant who understands you. You're talking to a system that constructs the most statistically probable response to your input. The quality of your input directly determines the quality of that construction. Every piece of context you leave out is a gap the model fills with an average. And averages are, by definition, generic. Prompt engineering is not a technical skill. It is a communication skill. Specifically, it is the skill of eliminating ambiguity before the model has to guess. The CRAFT framework gives you a repeatable structure to do exactly that. C. Context. Context is the situation the model needs to understand before it can help you, not what you want it to do. What's happening that makes this task necessary? Bad context. Write an email to a client. Better context? I have a client who paid for a project deliverable 3 weeks ago. The deliverable is late because of a dependency on their team. I need to address the delay without sounding defensive. Notice what changed. The specific version eliminates the model's need to guess the stakes, the relationship, and the constraint. Every guess you remove is a generic filler you prevent. R. Role. Role tells the model which part of its training to prioritize. Without a role, you get an average generalist. With a specific role, you activate a particular pattern of reasoning and vocabulary. Act as a senior account manager who specializes in difficult client communication, produces a different output than the same prompt with no role. The role narrows the model's construction space toward expertise rather than averaging across everything it knows. One rule on roles: match the expertise level you actually need. Not act as an expert. That is too vague to do anything. Act as a UX researcher who specializes in enterprise software usability testing is specific enough to shift the output meaningfully. Action. Action is the only component most people include, and they still get it wrong. The mistake is using verbs like write, create, or generate without specifying scope. Write a project plan could mean a 3-bullet list or a 20-page document. The model picks one. It probably picks wrong. Here's a precise action. Write a 200-word client email. One opening paragraph that addresses the delay directly. One middle paragraph that explains the dependency issue without assigning blame. One closing paragraph with a specific revised delivery date and a clear next step. Scope is part of the action. Length, structure, number of items. These are not format. They are scope. Never leave scope out of your action instruction. F. Format. Format tells the model how to structure the output, not what to produce, but what shape the output should take. The same content in different formats has completely different utility. A decision you need to make today needs a recommendation with 3 bullet points of supporting reasoning, not a nuanced 600-word essay that leaves the decision to you. Specify. headers or no headers, bullet points or prose, approximate length, whether you want options or a single recommendation. These 4 format constraints alone will eliminate most of the reformatting work you currently do after getting an AI output. T. Tone. Tone is the most underused lever in the entire framework. Professional and formal are not tone instructions. They are style categories. They tell the model almost nothing specific about how to construct the voice of the output. Useful tone instructions sound like this: direct and confident, as if briefing a senior executive who has 90 seconds to read this. Or conversational but precise, like a knowledgeable colleague explaining something at a whiteboard, not writing a report. The more specific your tone instruction, the less the model averages across every communication style it has ever seen. Specific tone equals specific voice equals output you do not have to rewrite. Let's put the full framework together on a concrete professional task. The task: you need AI help preparing for a difficult performance review conversation with a direct report. Without craft, most people type, "Help me prepare for a performance review." With craft, context. I manage a software engineer who has strong technical skills but consistently misses deadlines and underestimates task complexity. We have a quarterly review tomorrow. I want to address the pattern directly without damaging the relationship or triggering defensiveness. Role: act as an experienced engineering manager who has coached high-potential employees through performance issues. Action: give me 5 specific questions I can ask during the review that surface the root cause of the deadline pattern rather than just documenting the symptom. Format: 5 numbered questions. Under each question, 1 sentence explaining what it is designed to surface. Tone: genuinely curious and non-accusatory. The goal is to understand, not to confront. That prompt takes under a minute to write. The output is something you can walk into the meeting with tomorrow, not something you spend 20 minutes editing before it becomes useful. Here is the one thing to take from this. The AI is not underperforming. You are underspecifying. The craft framework, context, role, action, format, tone, closes that gap. Every component you skip is a gap the model fills with a guess. Every component you include is a constraint that pushes the output toward what you actually need. If the full framework feels heavy at first, start with 2 components: context and format. Those 2 alone will improve your outputs more than any other single change you can make today. I have built a ready-to-use craft prompt template you can drop into any AI tool. It is part of the free Knowledge Worker toolkit in the description below. If this kind of framework-first thinking is useful to you, subscribe. Every video on this channel is built this way. Not tool tutorials, not top 10 lists. Structured systems you can implement the same day.